Well, grab your sleds and welcome in to the inaugural episode of Icy Veins, the Winter Olympics show here on WNUR Sports, the Sports Block. I'm your host, Gabe Shumway. I will be here with you all quarter long, talking everything Winter Olympics. Ben Dannemiller, our guest today. Thank you for joining me. We might have more as the program goes on, but nonetheless, got a great guest for our first show. Now, to get started out, a lot of people may not be familiar with the Winter Olympics. A lot of the athletes, they may only know one or two. So let's welcome everyone home. Every year of the Olympics, there's a new breakout star. Last summer, we saw the pommel horse guy, Steven Nedorosik.
Yep.
In the Winter Olympics, we've seen Eileen Gu. We saw Ray Gunn, the latter maybe not for the best reasons.
Alona Maher, too.
Who?
Alona Maher, too.
Oh, yeah, Alona Maher. Rugby sensation.
Yeah.
So, Ben, I'm going to have you give me an athlete that is set to compete in the Winter Olympics that fans may have never heard of, and give me the pitch for why they will finish these games as a household name. What makes them unique or special? Why should fans keep an eye on them? And if you're feeling fancy, give me their next step. Are they going to join on Dancing with the Stars? Are they going to get their own game show like Apollo Ono? Who are you welcoming into your home?
Well, for me, I'm going to go with Ilya Malinin. He is a free skater that will be competing this year. Notably, he was the first person to ever hit the quadruple axel in a competitive event, which is the hardest possible thing you can do that has been achieved by humans so far.
Mm-hmm.
He is still the only person to have done that. He did that 4 years ago when he was only 19. So already, he has the skill, and so I think that he's going to hit it again during the Olympics. He's going to hit the quad axel. People are going to see that. And I think that moment's just going to go viral again. And as for what he's going to do afterwards, well, after winning gold, I honestly think Dancing with the Stars might not be the worst prediction. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of artistic carryover between free skate and just dancing. Yeah, you spin a bunch in the air. I'm sure you get some smooth enough shoes, you can kind of hit some of the same moves on hardwood.
I feel like it's the whole thing with like professional athletes train in ballet to get better at their balance.
Yeah.
I feel like you put someone who's a skier into that situation. It's going to be amazing, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Yeah.
What you said, Ilya? Is he Russian or
American?
American. Oh,
yes.
Interesting. Gotcha. Yeah. All right. Well, we will take a look at him coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting really excited about ski mountaineering. I think there's going to be. It's the first brand new sport that they're adding this year. The only completely new discipline. And a lot of these are runners that are carrying over. So I want to see some of these runners. Anna Gibson is one that I have my mind on, who's a big multi-sport athlete who's now competing in ski mountaineering. And I feel like I could see a lot of these ski mountaineering athletes going to host some competition show. Maybe not the Amazing Race, but some sort of if they bring back Chase Tag on NBC, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I feel like we need someone who's a multi-sport athlete hosting one of these guys.
Maybe one of those physical challenge
an
reality
American Ninja
shows.
Warrior sideline
something
reporter
like
or
that.
Something.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, we could go something like that.
Definitely.
All right. Well, continuing on through brand new athletes, Team USA got Dua Lipa on NBC. Austin Matthews and John Hamm teamed up for another on there. So next up is a commercial pitching segment. Any country, any sport. We need one Winter Olympics athlete and one non-athletic celebrity to team up for any commercial of your choice. Have fun. Best pitch, once we get more guests, wins absolutely nothing, but you'll have my undying support for your idea. So I'll have you take it away, Ben.
Well, my first thought went to ski jumping, and it doesn't really matter who the athlete is. I selected Kevin Bickner because he's from Illinois, so, Illinois school, might as well pick the Illinois guy. And I think it might be interesting to do something where, he goes up for a jump and through the magic of CGI, he keeps going up, past the clouds. And all of a sudden, jet plane comes in and it's Tom Hanks reprising his role as Maverick. And some kind of
Tom
ad.
Cruise or Tom Hanks?
Oh, is it Tom Cruise? Oh, it's Tom Cruise. Yeah,
okay,
not Tom Hanks. My apologies. Hey, maybe it is Tom Hanks and they make a little joke about that, but
that would be. Tom Hanks is a better get than Tom Cruise, surely.
Surely, yeah. I think so.
Is this an airline?
I'm not sure what
Does Delta need the Winter Olympics funding?
Maybe. I'm not sure what the ad would actually be for, but I feel like you can do maybe a Delta and American Airlines, especially because American.
Team USA.
Yeah, Team USA. I'm not sure if Team USA has an airline sponsor. If they do, then whoever that would be could definitely have Tom Cruise's Maverick in the cockpit of one of their planes, just talking to Kevin Bickner as he's up there in the air. Just has like minutes of hang time.
Nice. I feel like my mind with this is going to the fact that HGTV is just missing out on capitalizing on curling. You know what I mean? Do you know HGTV?
No, yeah, my mom used to watch all the time. I think she's watching right now. So hi, Mom. I do remember the fact that you always watch HGTV.
I feel like the Property Brothers need to team up with like some curling team to like clean your house.
Wait,
You know what I mean?
That's
like,
good.
Like you just have
That's
a team
good.
full of guys with brooms
Uh-huh.
that are going throughout every room in the house, and
Yes.
it's just the Property Brothers like evaluating someone's home and trying to sell it for more. And it's entirely just because you have a team of guys with brooms going through the entire house.
That's good. Wait, that's actually really good. It's a great idea.
All right. Well, I think we can move on and discuss a little bit of the actual games themselves rather than our reminiscing on athletes. Ben, how big of an NHL guy are you?
Not very. I've made a couple friends here who are big into NHL, so I've started to learn, but I wouldn't say I'm fully there yet.
Well, I think the big thing with the NHL this time around, new agreement, NHL Players Association, and the International Ice Hockey Federation. With this, the NHL athletes are once again allowed to compete in the Winter Olympics for the first time now since 2014. So there's been a 12-year gap since the last time they competed. There are new faces galore. What does this mean for the players involved? Are there players or countries that you're most excited to see?
Yeah, I think that this is really going to improve the U.S. team specifically because here's the thing. Other countries have their own leagues. I mean, even Canada, even though they have these NHL teams, they also have, the Canadian Hockey League. So they still are able to really field the team with a bunch of professional players in the Olympics. Meanwhile, the best U.S. players are all in NHL because why would they, leave to go to a worse, league, right? And, teams like Germany, Latvia, Denmark, who we're in the group with, they all have their leagues there. They all have, professional representation before this. So I think that the U.S. is going to be the biggest beneficiary of this change. And I'm really looking forward to see how they do on the bigger ice.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, because they have those international competitions where the U.S. and Canada are at each other's throats every year, and those are the two big competitors. And then you look at the Olympics, and it's all these guys in European leagues or, the minor leagues, so to speak, in the NHL. And back in 2022, it was Finland taking home the gold, the ROC in silver, and Slovakia with the bronze. U.S. and Canada, none of them medaling at all. So I think this is going to be a big chance to kind of see how that develops for them. It reminds me a little of, I'm always drawing things back to baseball, where you see the Olympics and the Team USA did terribly because the Japanese all let their leagues out. Took a long hiatus in the middle of the summer to let everyone compete, and then everyone dominated. But then you see these international stages that are often the more important ones.
Exactly, yeah.
I feel like hockey last year kind of took over the country too, the U.S. and Canada beef. Like,
the Four Nations face-off. That was a fun tournament.
I've never seen a country so known for kindness, so angry at another group of people.
Yeah, I think all bets are off when it comes to Canadian hockey in terms of their temperaments.
Yeah, perhaps. the other big factor too is Russia this year, right?
No Russia.
Yeah, no. Well, unable to compete under a national identity because of the invasion in Ukraine.
But they're not there anyway, so.
But they're not as a team, but they're allowed to compete under kind of unknown nation sort of thing in
individual
sports.
For hockey specifically, I suppose they're not.
You're not able to get any sort of competition, so I feel like that's one of the big competitors out at least too. So I feel like U.S. and Canada might have some beef again this year with all the big competitors over. If you got to take a favorite right now, do you got a pick? The record?
It's going to come down. I hope it's a USA Canada final. Yeah. I'm always going to back my own country. I'm always going to back the United States. I think, especially in the group stage, we have a much more favorable draw. Canada has two other top 5 teams in their group with Switzerland and Czechia, whereas the U.S. has, honestly, probably the easiest path to winning the group out of anyone in the tournament. So I think that, we can kind of rest some of our better guys during those opening games and then really lock in the knockouts.
Yeah, you got to acknowledge how it's different too, especially for a lot of those international players. I'm not sure how up to date you are on the rinks recently.
I did take a look at some of that news and prep.
Yeah, the rinks got shortened by about 4 feet, so they're
Really?
usually even bigger on the international stage.
Okay.
So these international players are used to these giant rinks to skate on.
Mm-hmm.
The US's and in the NHL are a little smaller, and these are going to be even smaller than that.
Really? So they are smaller than
yeah.
that.
There was issues building the rinks, so the rinks are going to be even smaller than the typical
I did not
international
know
regulations.
that. Okay, interesting.
So yeah, I think that'll play to the US's advantage almost a little more because they're
Yes.
used to having less space, whereas a lot of these
Definitely.
international players are used to this huge stage. Well, we have one final segment that we like to call Eyes Locked today. People have their eyes locked on one sport. So for so many of us, it's hard to find time in our busy day and age to take a look at all these sports that are out there. 16 different sports, over 100 different levels of competition. People aren't always sure which ones to take a look at, which ones to go with. And so, for this final segment, we're going to look at any one of the 16 sports you want. It can be women's doubles luge, dual moguls, freestyle skiing, a new sport altogether. So, if there's a fan out there who's stuck deciding which sport am I going to tune into this Winter Olympics, Ben, what is your advice to those indecisive fans out there?
I do fear I am going to be a little bit basic with my pick. I think if you are if you're still somehow on a break with school, how? Can I go there? And if you're just kind of sitting around saying like, okay, I kind of need something to watch in the Olympics, but I'm not sure. You got to watch men's ice hockey. I mean, we saw it with the Four Nations face-off last year. The U.S. is totally ready to accept that as like a new major sport. And especially since, that was a relatively small tournament, we have triple the number of teams here. Of all skill levels, obviously the USA, Canada, but even, Italy, the host, not exactly the best hockey nation, but, they're in a group they're in the group without Canada or the US. So they, might get a chance at a win. And that could be like an interesting underdog story, for the neutral fan, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, it'll be a lot higher quality this year, obviously with the NHL players in, is it Tkachuk?
Yeah, Matthew Tkachuk.
Both of them, honestly, I think both of them, Brady and Matthew, will be playing. So it will be interesting, just higher quality than usual. And I think I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got our resident Panthers fan has graduated. But definitely. I think for international fans, especially who are struggling to tie onto a team, I feel like there's a lot of people out there from, warm countries who want to tune into something like this, but just can't really find the time or the connection. So I feel like hockey is a great way. I mean, obviously us here in the US, we're going to get really attached to those players. And it's hard not to be, right? But on an international level too, I think that's a really cool one. And you're going to see perhaps the biggest competition. I think it certainly has the biggest legacy between the Miracle on Ice and everything. I'm going to go to a sport that I've kind of gotten into recently, and that's skeleton.
Interesting.
Skeleton is
that's the one where you're on your stomach, right? And like
you're on
forward.
Like the tiny little sled, and you're going all around the ice track. So there's just kind of these people flying at absurd speeds, going everywhere, and it almost reminds me a little of like mini NASCAR on ice or like an F1 sort of a race where you're just on these little sleds, but it's so like little protections, kind of this hyper dangerous environment. But some of the favorites this year: Matt Weston, the British star. Axel Junk is a good one. Christopher Grotier. But they've also added different combinations, teams, women's, men's. I think there's a lot to love in skeleton, especially for someone who's never seen a sport before. I feel like every time the Olympics rolls around, I find a random new sport that I really love, And I think this year it could just be skeleton, but there's plenty to watch. Anything else that you're looking at? Any sports that you feel like you may not know before that you're checking out this year?
I'm definitely certainly going to try and figure out curling a little bit more. That's always been something that, like most of the other sports, it's kind of like clear how that is scored, with the, luge, skeleton, it's whoever goes fastest wins. Like I can comprehend that, but I don't really like the fact that I still don't know how curling scoring works.
Yeah, you got the big dome and the big almost like bullseye in the middle.
Yes.
I kind of think of it as like shuffleboard. Have you ever hung out with your grandparents before?
I've seen shuffleboard. It's also a little bit similar to bocce, from what I've heard, an Italian sport that's a little similar.
Yeah, where you throw it. Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't know much about bocce actually, but I think curling, the big thing is the sweeping the ice, where you have the stone going and you're trying to kind of control the speed of it.
Yes.
but the actual scoring is kind of a little foreign to me as well. It's something that I feel like that's the one sport that I check out every year and I don't understand how it works, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's plenty to be excited about this
Definitely.
season. Ice hockey, luge. You always have that one miracle team too, with the Jamaican bobsleigh team, or biathlon is another
Are they
one I'm
back at
looking
this
at.
one?
Jamaican bobsleigh team?
Are
I have
they?
no
Hold
clue.
on.
What teams have qualified for bobsleigh
Olympic
this year?
bobsleigh.
Bobsleigh. Germany, US, Canada, Latvia, Switzerland, and emerging teams from Jamaica, Nigeria, Monaco, and Trinidad
Yeah.
and Tobago.
Monaco.
Monaco
That's
bobsled team?
Monaco is
What's
actually
the population of Monaco?
not big enough. that is actually the most shocking.
39,000 residents.
Wow. Maybe there is hope for the Vatican cross country team come Summer Olympics time, because clearly
I think we found our guy.
Yeah, Monaco bobsleigh. Yes.
Team.
Might have
Just
to
38,000 strong. Well, we are approaching our time. I think that will do it for our first episode of Icy Veins. Ben, thank you so much for coming on. We've talked
pleasure.
everything from Monaco bobsleighing to shortened ice rinks to the U.S. and Canada.
And the Property Brothers as well.
We can't forget curling in the Property Brothers.
No, that was such a good idea, man. Actually pitch that to the U.S. Just send that out to the Olympic Committee.
I'll hit up HGTV and see what they have to say.
Yeah.
All right, well, perfect. Well, thank you everyone for tuning into the inaugural episode. We will be back next week, every week, this quarter, for the next 10 weeks, 7 to 7:30 on Sundays. Thank you so much for tuning in. And up next is Her Take.